Hello everyone, it's Lindsay, and today I'm back with a flip-through video. I have not done one of those in a hot minute. I had kind of changed up my plans for how I was going to work through this devotional kit from ByTheWell4God since the last process video that I posted. So I wanted to share with you what I did because I plan on doing something very similar with next month's kit. Now this was inspired by Janet, Top Knots in Jesus. She had shared a booklet like this that she had done that she's selling. She is purging some things from her craft supplies. And so I reached out, asked if I could borrow her idea, give her credit. And of course she said absolutely. I'm pretty sure I've done something similar to this several years ago with a past kit. And this just reminded me how much I love this idea. So I do want to share that. And it's just a good time. We're wrapping up the month of July, wrapping up Identified, but today, at the time that I'm filming this, is also the new release for the next kit from ByTheWell4God, which is the Heavenly Host. So that released today. I will have an unboxing, all that kind of stuff coming out soon for you guys. But the kits are going very fast. So I wanted to mention it while I'm in this video so you can head on over and order. They are also having their Christmas in July sale. So there's lots of things on sale if you want to pick up some past kit items as well. I do believe they still have copies of this devotional kit in the shop as well. So go get your shop on, pick up some things. Maybe you'll be inspired after seeing this flip through, but check that out. So I will be doing a similar booklet for this kit. So stay tuned. I'll have more like details about that coming soon. But this one I did not film putting together. I'm just going to do the flip through to give you some ideas. And so what I found, I love Bible journaling. I'm not giving up on Bible journaling. I will still continue to Bible journal. But for this current season, I found that a lot of times I would avoid doing the study because I didn't have enough time to sit down and do the study and the creating all at once. I felt like it needed to be done all at once, and so then I just wouldn't do any of it. And so by doing all of this creative up front, got it done and over with, now I can focus on the study and do everything all in one place. So this may be really inspiring for some of you that maybe also have that struggle. Maybe you're really intimidated by the idea of creating directly in your Bible. That's not really functional for you. Whatever, this might be a good idea. And so kind of a key part of this project, mine is probably filthy, is the cinch machine from We Are Memory Keepers. They do have a smaller machine as well. I don't think the smaller one is going to be quite big enough to do these booklets, but you can often find these clearance at Hobby Lobby sometimes. Check out Marketplace, eBay. You know, it is a little bit of an investment, but I can assure you I have gotten my money's worth out of this thing. I use it all the time. And so this punches the holes and then also smushes the coil once you've coil bound it. You can also take things to be coil bound at a lot of office supply stores. I know that's what Janet had done. You would just have to be, you know, all ready to go, have everything together, and then take it and be coil bound. So I did it myself. I used the 5/8 inch coil, which probably is a tad small, but that's what I had in my stash. So that is what I used. So 99% of the things in here are from the Identified release. Try to keep it very, very simple. There's no stamping, no mixed media, nothing like that. I just wanted it pretty and fun, but lots of room to journal. So, like I said, everything's pretty much from the release. So I'll just link to that section of the store, and then you'll just have to shop the items that way. But I went ahead and put the date on the front. I wish I had been doing this with past kits. This 100% is from Janet. A lot of times I have a hard time remembering when the kits came out, what the order is. I may even go back and do this with some of my older kits that I haven't finished because this is just a great way to have everything in place and have the date on there. So for July, here's Identified. I have not put any notes in here yet. I will be doing that this week, but I wanted to kind of walk you through just the basic pages so you could kind of see what I did. So I did go through, I read the entire devotional in several times. I've read through it. I've highlighted all the verses. And then I went through and assembled. So some of these things needed to be assembled and then coil bound all together. So what I did was I took the staples out of the devotional, cut through the devotional. So these are all individual pages. And then I layered everything up how I wanted it and then ran it through the cinch machine and went through the process. I do have a video, showing how I deconstructed an interleaved Bible and coil bound it. I will try to find that and link that down below. It walks you through how to use the cinch machine if you've never used that before. But I just went and cut down some of the pattern papers from the release, sized to fit the pages in this devotional booklet. It's about 8. Well, these are 8 because they're 6 by 8 pages. So 8 inches by like 4 1/4 ish is about what they ended up being. So for this spot here, the title of the devotional day is printed on there, but in the extra set of stickers you could purchase, there was a page with all of the titles in there. So I went ahead and mounted those little clear stickers. I mounted them on some cardstock, just the trash backer sheet from the sticker package, and cut them out and covered up the titles. So now all my titles are pretty and fun. That's a super easy way to add some color to your devotionals. You could also white out the titles with a little whiteout tool and then stick the clear sticker over there. But just trying to figure out ways to incorporate as many of the products in here versus putting them in my Bible was kind of my plan. So some pages are just kind of holder filler pretty pages using some of the ephemera, but then I made sure to leave myself plenty of places to journal. So using the journaling cards, I did go through and kind of round some corners or cut things down, but giving me places to write things. And then for the word cards, I am going to do word studies. So these I could have punched and coiled in with everything else, but they're so small, I figured it would be a little bit difficult to write on these if they were contained within the notebook. So I punched them on their own, and then I went through with a little pair of scissors and created little notches. That way they can be popped in and out of the coil. And so I can take them out, write my word study on the back of there, and then they're all in here with the page. So one thing about the By the Will for God devotionals is they don't always have a ton of room directly in the devotional to journal. So that was kind of my thinking behind this, was to give me some room to journal and take my notes directly in the book. So everything is together. The creativity is together. My note taking is together. Bible verse writing will be in here. All of that, one spot. So then moving on, again, just very, very basic. I used a ton of these. Now with back to school, now is the time to pick up things like this. Very inexpensive, probably less than $1. I think it was like 50 cents for the pack of just grid index cards. And these are great for giving you a spot to journal. Since some of these papers are pretty vibrant, they're beautiful, but you know, it would be difficult to write directly on that paper. So just mounted, gave myself a little journaling spot. Here I have a little bit more journaling room if I want it. Now, because I'd read through the devotional several times already, I kind of had an idea when I came to the day how much journaling I thought I was going to need to do. Now I can always, like I do with, you know, these various things, create pop-ins and insert additional pages in here if I wanted to. But I tried to kind of look at the day and figure out how much space I was going to need to write. So again, if you're going to take it to an office supply store, that's something that you kind of need to think about and have it assembled exactly how you want it before you take it to be coil bound. But giving myself, you know, plenty of room to journal. This is one of the file folders, and what I did was, now I could have coiled this directly into the book, but I hadn't thought of it when I coiled it, but you could have done that. I used a circle punch, punched a little indentation, that way I could see these cards that were tucked in there. And then I just added some double-sided adhesive to the sides of the file folder. So now I just have this little pocket that I can tuck things in. So I can tuck in journaling cards if I want to. I could do a little stamping on here if I wanted to, but I can do my word studies on these and then tuck them into that folder, and then everything is contained within the book. This one here, I used one piece of paper, and then I cut another down at an angle to create a pocket. I did use a Tim Holtz die to cut out a window. Now I only did this twice. I had planned on doing all kinds of fun decorative edges and more die cutting, but it really just came down to I need to finish the project so that I can get to the study. So trying to keep it pretty simple, but that is an added little thing that you can do. But I pulled out some Ranger tags. This is the 1% that wasn't from the release. Everything else is from the release, but using this as a spot to journal, added just some clear stickers to dress it up, a little bit of fabric on there so that it's, you know, you know it comes out. It's a little tuft and it's, you know, fun and frilly and cute, right? Because we do still like those things. And then I can just tuck the word cards in there, or I could do the word studies on the tag directly if I wanted to. And then here I've got some room for journaling as well, just creating little clusters with the ephemera pieces. This one here was a lot of fun. I used one of the fabrics and created a pocket. So I actually tore the fabric down and then sewed it to one of these cards. I'd pre-cut the card to fit this page. Sewed the fabric on there, and then I adhered the card to the paper. So I did not sew all the way through, and then created a pocket that way. And so now I can tuck in my word cards, verse card, and then this was another one of those index cards, just rounded the corners, added a little bit of clear stickers on there to dress it up. And so that is a really easy way to give yourself plenty of room to take notes. You might want to just do the whole thing with pockets and tuck spots for your notes if you are somebody who takes a lot of notes. And then this was just kind of a decorative filler page. This one again, using one of the journaling cards. I did have to cut it down a little bit so it fit on this page a little better. I like to have a little margin on the edges there, but I've got some room to journal. I can even journal in all these spaces too if I want. I'm not concerned about it being perfect after this point. This is meant to be worked in, scribbled in, things crossed out, prayers journaled, whatever. It's going to get messy as I start writing in it. Again, just another area for notes, and then some more of the cards. So I went through and found all the cards, you know, for each particular day or whatever. So they're in the right days. Again, this is actually the back of one of those Telegram cards. So I used a couple of them this way, but then as I mentioned in my unboxings often, don't be afraid to use the back side as well. So rather than using one of these, now I've got a colored journaling spot. They do have a dot grid on them, and so that just makes a really fun way that I can still use this beautiful paper, but then have an area where my writing is easy to be seen. And then this was one of those where I thought that I was going to do a lot of journaling, again, because I had looked ahead. So I did 2 pages as like an open spread here. Great option you could do for every one of the days if you know that you're going to write, you know, a ton. And so I just clipped the cards in here because I will do my word studies directly on these pages. This is light enough that I can write directly on the paper. I may want to write a quote or a verse here and then do all my notes on the inside here. And then this is just kind of, you know, pretty filler page. Here's another spot where I used one of those Tim Holtz dies. These dies like punch out a window out of the paper, and then I backed it with another paper so that you got the yellow peeking through. So I can take my notes in this area or just leave it, you know, as it is. And then I've got some journaling spot here. Again, one of those journaling cards flipped over, some of the word cards. For this page here, this is another good find for back to school. This is very inexpensive grid paper. I bought this when I was doing my distress ink paper dyeing. So I was dyeing different papers with distress ink, and this is great for that, but it's also great for things like this. So I just took one page, cut it down, and then I didn't fold it perfectly in half. It's slightly off. And then when I assembled the booklet, now I've got like a little fold out piece, if that makes sense. So what I plan on doing is taking these word cards and I'll do my word study in this paper. This paper is pretty thin. If you want it thicker, you could double it up, but it's fine for what I needed. Because this coil was a little bit small, I didn't want to get too bulky in this book, but now I've got plenty of journaling space. This will probably just stay as a pretty filler page, and then a journaling spot on the back there. Here's another way to use one of the file folders. So I adhered it directly to the paper and kind of created like a little flip open book. Now you've seen me do books before where I cut down papers, sew them down the center, and have a bunch of pages. You could very easily do that here as well. I'm just going to do the word study in here. So one will be on this side and one will be on this side. I do have some additional room if I want to journal around it, or if I wanted to insert pages, I still could do that, but that's a fun way to use those file folders in this type of system. And then here, same thing. I could, you know, come and insert one of these if I wanted some room to journal, but I kind of left it blank in case I didn't feel like I needed extra journal space. Here's the other half of that fold out piece. So just giving me some room to take notes. Very, very simple, using some clear stickers, still covering up the titles there. And then here's another pocket. So main paper and then just a paper cut at an angle. As you can see, everything was punched and adhered. Now I messed up my punching. I got shifted off at some point, so a big chunk of my book is off. I had to cut off the top, but not the end of the world. Another tag with some of the clear stickers. So I have some journaling spots, and then those word cards. So this one, Blessed in Christ, has quite a bit of room to journal. So I may come in and do the word studies here and then do my journaling on this tag, but I've got some flexibility there. This one here, I've got some room. I can write directly in this space if I want to. These cards, I will do the word studies on these sections back here. So again, these are those journaling cards just flipped over, cut down, corners rounded, added some clear stickers. A very great way, again, to use up those really beautiful papers that you just can't really write over the top of. So here's that one. Here again, using some of the ephemera pieces, got, you know, space to write a quote or a verse, and then just a simple journaling spot on the back, and then all of those word study cards. This one here. Most of the By the Well papers are like more neutral on one side, and then, you know, patterned, vibrant, things that you can fussy cut, things like that on the other side. So, you know, just by how you put it in there gives you some space that you can journal on the more muted side. So I'll just write directly on there. Again, I could always come in and add a card if I needed some additional journaling space on here. And then the word cards. Another pocket here with a tag. And, you know, I could come and stamp on here if I wanted to. I can add, you know, different things. I could do texture pastes and things. If I wanted to get messy, I could. But I wanted to keep it pretty easy for this. And then just kind of a blank area on the back. And then that is it. So that is how I assembled my book for Identified. So now the idea is that I don't have to fret. I can just grab my study Bible, grab this book, my Blue Letter Bible app on my phone, and a pen, and I'm good to go. I can just hit the ground running, doing my study directly in here, really messy, taking notes, doing the word studies, scribbling things down, and everything is in one place. I'm excited, and it's still fun, right? Because those of us who Bible journal, we like the pretty, we like the fun, we like, you know, all the paper crafting bits. So I don't have to give that up. But now I've got a space where everything can be together. So I do plan on going back and maybe doing this for some of the past kits that I didn't finish. Certainly we'll be doing this for the next kit, the Heavenly Host. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to be doing like alcohol acetate. I'm going to try some embossing folders with acetate. I have some fun things planned for the Heavenly Host. And this one in particular is great because if you want to play with alcohol inks, you'll know alcohol inks do not play well in your Bible. They're going to bleed through. They're not meant to just be on regular paper. But by doing something like this, you can play with those mediums and those techniques that aren't really conducive for your Bible, work great in here. So there's a look at Identified. I do believe this kit is still available. If you, took a look at this, if it was inspiring, if you hadn't picked it up yet and you did want to still pick that up, definitely check that out. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Again, I'm not giving up Bible journaling, but things are going to look like this for a little while just because it's easy for me to do. And so do you like it? Not like it? Are you inspired? Have you done one of these? Leave me a comment. Let me know. Check out the description box for links to everything that I mentioned. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, if you were inspired. Subscribe to my channel if you're not already subscribed. And until next time, thank you so much. Bye-bye.